Video games all have a reason or reasons that make you want to play it. Whether it's a shooter for the shooting, or a tactical game for the strategy, or an adventure game for the exploration. But a lot of games introduce gimmicks which temporarily have you doing something almost completely unrelated to why you wanted to play it in the first place. Removing the shtick, if you will. Some of these can be fun, but typically they just seem to detract from the game overall. We'll take a look at some examples and maybe try to figure out why this has become common practice in a lot of video games. Please leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you end up enjoying it. Thanks. I've already shown one example I wanted to expand on, and it's the junker section in the first Gears of War. How this part works is you must drive the junker through some streets to rendezvous with the rest of your squad. The streets have no branching paths and it's pretty straightforward and easy to navigate. What makes this section annoying is having to jump back and forth between driving and manning the spotlight on top to burn any krill about to attack you. A sound effect will play and the old dude will holler when you need to swap seats and man the light.
Look out!
In co-op, it's a bit easier. The person playing Marcus will be driving and Dom will be on the light. It's been a while, but I believe only one can operate at a time, meaning when Dom is using the light, the car will come to a rolling stop. You can see why some may not like this. Gears has always been well known for its heavy combat and cover-based shooting. You can play as slow or as quickly as you want, either by sitting back and using your Lancer or getting in the Locust's face with the Gnasher. But this junker section, you have no choice. You must take it slow and manage going back and forth from progressing the game and defending the junker so you don't get blown up and have to start over. The section isn't very long and the game only ever makes you do this once, even though the crew are seen in the junker a handful of times. It's also worth noting that this doesn't sneak up on you. The game builds up the presence of a vehicle before you even get to this part, so it's not like this is sprung on you all of a sudden. The brain dances in Cyberpunk 2077 are kind of a quick one, basically explained as a 3D recording of an event that can be accessed and experienced repeatedly to either learn something or just for pleasure. The use of them in regards to the player are to investigate. It's a detective mode in a sense where you're given a timeline like a media player and need to look into events that line up with critical moments. I think the issue with these is that they can go on way too long for a handful of reasons. Either you aren't sure what you're looking for or just fumbling with the myriad of controls. The game asks you to juggle quite a lot and gives you minimal guidance later on, so your experience may vary. This one is self-explanatory. Cyberpunk is a first-person shooter in an open world with lots of missions and activities to do. It was basically shown off similar to Grand Theft Auto, but ended up being quite different. Being stuck in this monotonous mode is just boring compared to the rest of the game. This leads perfectly into Spider-Man. Who would have thought that when you play a Spider-Man game that the player actually wants to play as Spider-Man? Which is why I don't get the need to take the player away from him and have you play as someone with no powers and must do a stealth section. It's literally the opposite loop as the rest of the game. It would even be passable if there was some choice on how you could sneak through, but there isn't. These are typically designed with one path in mind, which personally disconnects me from the action since I feel like I'm on rails. And the couple times later on when they do give you some choice, it's between the safer pre-planned route or maybe a slightly quicker shortcut that also puts you at a higher risk of getting discovered. You like swinging around the city, scaling skyscrapers and punching bad dudes in the face? Too bad. You're stuck here on our slow, linear, boring section that basically plays itself. The game also has a couple instances where you must complete some puzzles. The first few are really easy as they are tutorials. They do give you more if you enjoy them, but for those that don't, there's an option in the menu that allows you to skip them altogether. This is great for those that don't like or aren't good at puzzles, and it makes sense since this is not the reason why the player decided to play the game in the first place. These examples are when the game strictly takes something away from you, making you have to learn a new gameplay environment that is very different from the rest of the game. Sticking with the superhero genre, a different example is Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush is a game where you fly around, defying gravity and using it to defeat enemies. It has a puzzle loop with some action and navigation weaved in. It's a unique blend of systems. You probably have an idea where this is going. There's a section in the game that gimps your gravity altering powers and basically just becomes a regular platformer. Now this wouldn't be all bad if the platforming was fun, but it's not. Clearly because the game was not designed for this. Which puts even more strain on the thought of the game limiting when you can play with your shiny new toy. I played Gravity Rush first on the Vita and I was really enjoying it until I got to this section. I failed a couple times and that made my feelings on the game sink into the floor. You can fly for a total of 2 seconds before needing an item that will refresh it, or be grounded for the meter to come back. And you're also expected to take out enemies in this state. It's like no one playtested this and realized that taking the fun part out of the game makes it not fun anymore. This is a very different method of removing the shtick, by not removing it entirely. you still have access to your powers, even if just a watered down version of them. The thing with holding the player back like this means the game now has to cater to this lowered state of mobility. All pickups need to be close to the ground, and places that can't be accessed on the ground means they need to be 2 seconds of flight away. This all sounds obvious, but that also means that the gameplay loop can be very uninteresting. This reminds me of 2022's Modern Warfare 2. Most of the campaign is very familiar and what you'd expect from a Call of Duty game, but I did say most. There are a couple times where the game takes your gun away from you and now you have like a survival, crafting, stealth section. You are required to loot areas to make traps, smokes, and other things that allow you to make your way through. I actually kinda like this section, but it goes back to the point that I made with Gravity Rush. The enemies and environment are now designed in a way to take it easy on you, since you only have crafting items like traps and smokes. This is a neat mechanic to introduce for a level, but it's brought back later on in the game again. It's actually one of the last things you do in the story mode, which was very underwhelming, since in Call of Duty games you typically expect a big set piece or an action sequence as a finale. Not all gimmicks are bad. People really enjoy playing Gwent in Witcher 3 or doing base research in some of the Metal Gear games. Do you have any other examples of gimmicks in games? Either ones that you like or ones you don't, and why? Halo 5 has walking and talking sections, Resident Evil 4 makes you play as Ashley, or even removing key features like the glory kills in Doom the Dark Ages and the down but not out in Gears of War Judgment. This topic can cover quite the wide net, which is why I'm interested to see what you think, so please leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Also, please remember to leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Follow my socials in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Stay safe.